Going live. Give it a couple seconds, and we are live. You guys may start the meeting whenever you like.
I'd like to call to order the Lyon Township Downtown Development Authority meeting, regular meeting of Tuesday, March 9th, 2021 at 7 p.m. Hey, Dorno, you want to read? I'm sorry, next we do the Pledge of Allegiance. Can we get a flag, Jacob? I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It'll be so nuts when we can do that in unison in person.
Yeah.
When is that?
Soon. Adorno, you want to read the mission statement?
Sure. The mission statement of the Lyon Township DDA is to assist public and private development efforts to stimulate residential, commercial, and industrial growth and create a vibrant community where people live, work, and play.
Thank you. And Rose, can we do a roll call? And please, when you announce your name, also announce the city that you're in.
Carissa.
You're on mute.
I'm on mute. No, she's
No,
on.
she is.
Okay.
I am here in New Hudson.
Okay. John Dolan is not here, right?
Right.
Jason.
Present, Davisburg.
Tim Miner,
New Hudson, of course.
of course. Adorno.
Yes, here in Northville. And actually, that's Oakland County. I noticed on the meeting minute it says Wayne County.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah.
Troy.
New Hudson here.
Paula.
Commerce Township, Oakland County.
Mark.
Here in Brighton, Livingston County.
Can we get an approval of the consent agenda? I mean, yeah.
I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda for February 2021 in the amount of $2,265.59.
I'll support that.
Any questions or comments on it before we approve it? Hearing none. Rose, can you give us a roll call?
I sure can. Mark.
Yes.
Paula.
Yes.
Troy.
Yes.
Adorno.
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Jason.
Yes.
Carissa.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And how about an approval of the agenda? Any changes to it? Hearing none.
You need a motion?
Need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for Tuesday, March 9th.
So moved.
Adorno.
Yes.
Troy.
Yes.
Carissa.
Yes.
Jason.
Yes.
Paula.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Tim.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion carried.
Okay, announcements and communications from anybody? Nothing, okay. Jacob, do we have anybody from the public?
We currently do not have anyone, Mr. Powell.
Okay. Unfinished business, update on the pre-application meeting with Eagle. I think that's,
Oh, yeah, I'll do that. We had an opportunity to do a virtual meeting with two representatives from Eagle to talk about the Ring Road project. And the meeting went well. We were able to ask a number of questions. We had Tim and Leslie from Paul and John Dolan and I, and they were open to working with us. We had some really good feedback and some good suggestions on the application. However, we did find or learn that there is a particular person who was not able to attend the call, who has a little more say in the project than we had thought. So we've scheduled a second meeting with the Eagle Group, and we'll be meeting with them this Thursday. And this particular individual will be on that call as well. And so we're hoping to garner some additional advice and recommendations on our application as we move forward. So if this person had been on the call initially, Leslie would be here today, taking us to the next step. But we do have to have this secondary meeting. And again, that'll be this Thursday. So at our next meeting, we'll be able to provide additional feedback on where we are with the application and what type of takeaways we'll be applying to the application in this this next round. So any questions on that?
No, no. Okay. Thank you, Tina. And update on the Oakland County Winterization Grant.
Yeah, so John Dolan was able to sign the interlocal agreement, which went to Oakland County. And we will be getting our first, it's a grant issuance check. It's about 70% of our total grant that will be sent to us. And right now we have greenhouses up at Draft Horse. We have 2 greenhouses and 2 igloos over at Kensington Grill. And we have 2 greenhouses over at Teresita Mexican Grill. And so those are up and running. We just got their sanitizers. They got extra gallons of sanitizer delivered for these electrostatic cleaners that are used to keep those sanitized. And we also received today our 14 additional heaters. These are the umbrella heaters. With that, we also received 14 empty propane tanks. And so those are ready for distribution as well. And the thinking behind that is that those heaters can go out to the restaurants that want to have additional seating outside, but could use the heaters. So they can't be used under a tent. They can't be used inside the greenhouses, but they can be used for outdoor seating. So a really good example of how it's being utilized is over at Draft Horse. They have 6 of our first round of heaters, and they have those outside in their outdoor seating sections. So they've been using those for a while now. So again, there's some paperwork involved with this. I'll be getting back to Oakland County, verifying where all of the equipment has been placed. We do have an additional greenhouse. It was assembled and delivered. However, the first initial thought was it was going to go to Cottage Inn. And then after reviewing his parking lot setup a little bit more, Sam came back and said that it probably wasn't going to work there. So then I reached out again to Jonah's to see if they would be interested. Also, the Lion Grill is another eligible restaurant, and they both declined. So we do have an extra greenhouse right now that I'm working with Oakland County to see if they would allow us to assign it to somebody else, maybe another business that doesn't meet the initial restaurant requirements. But the theory behind that is once you receive the product, then it's owned by the township. So the question is, can we then utilize it where we think would be the most beneficial at this stage? And so I'll be following up with them on that.
Okay, thank you. Bylaws.
So what we need to do, are we on that one yet?
That's next, yep.
Okay.
9C.
Yep. What we need to do is we have not had an opportunity to meet as an executive with the executive board, but I have been working on them. I think I have a working document that only needs to be tweaked here and there. So I have all of my recommendations in it. I just need to run it then by both, or not even both. I need to run it by you, Troy, Paula, and Mark. And we don't necessarily need to meet in person for that. I can just email you the copy, and then maybe we can just do a virtual Zoom to follow up on it. And hopefully at the April meeting, we can talk about adopting new bylaws.
Great.
And, we'll be talking about this in a little bit, but one of the main items that we should be thinking about is our committee chairs. So, all of you are volunteers and many of you own your own business and have a lot going on right now. And we do have a rule in our bylaws that only our committee chairs can come from the DDA board members. And so that's something that I think our board might want to consider making a change on, is allowing volunteers to be able to step up and take on that committee role without being a board member. There was a reason that rule was put in place, and I think it was because there was more oversight, but we can always require that committee chairperson to attend our monthly meetings so that you can get firsthand feedback from them and an update. And that provides a different type of oversight. So something that we should consider moving forward, because it might be a challenge to fill some of these committee positions. So that's just my
Good idea.
recommendation.
I know you and I have had that conversation before, and I think maybe you should write that into the draft, into the,
I have.
yeah, so put that in there, and that'll give us a good opportunity to review it. But I think that's important because we all get tapped for, volunteering for everything. So I did that into the bylaws.
Right. Yes, I know that many of you serve on other boards and are participating and engaged in the community in other areas. So it's just something I think we should consider.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Tina. New business, appointment of the promotions committee chair, because it's a perfect segue.
Right. So I didn't hear back from anyone. I sent out an email asking if would like to step forward to fill that position. And the good news is it is a committee chair role that Troy worked very hard to build a really effective committee. These folks have been meeting on a regular basis. They're engaged. They are eager to want to participate. They are willing to put in the time and the effort in order to meet the objectives of the promotions committee. And we're happy to say that now we have some representatives from the New Hudson Church, also a part of that committee. And these are the folks that were very helpful in working with us to put together that concert series idea that we had pre-COVID. And so what we need then is, with Troy being the chair for the DDA, is someone who would be willing to step up and take on the role of the promotions committee. So if we don't have any volunteers this evening, then this goes back to what I had mentioned earlier about maybe reaching out to some of those committee members to see if one of them would be interested if we change the rule in the bylaws on this.
Anybody?
Yeah,
So I
it's
think-
tough. It's tough. What I'm finding too in general is just a lot of people are feeling a little bit of this COVID fatigue. Our business owners have been through pretty much a year of HELL, so it's been
Well,
tough.
plus everybody here, if they're not working, I mean, they're volunteered for so many other things. I mean, and they're working 100 hours a week on projects and things like that, so, all right, so I think we just wait and see what we, we'll work on the bylaws update. And I know there's a couple people that are interested in, discuss being interested in it as when they were volunteers on the promotions committee. So, okay. Reports. Tina, you're next.
Okay, I'm going to keep this short. I know we have a shorter meeting tonight, but I am reaching out to some landscape companies to get quotes for the roundabout and landscaping cleanup that we do every spring. We have utilized two different companies. They are both relatively local companies. One is Faith Lawn Care, and the other one is Spillax Landscape. And we do not have contracts with these individuals. They have been doing work for us just based on need. So I'll be sending out some requests for quotes on that, and I'll be presenting that at our April meeting. And then also, as you know, I'm a part of the task force for Lyon area businesses. And we continue to meet. We have been meeting on a weekly basis now since April of last year. And this is the Love for Lyon campaign task force. And so right now, we're promoting, I'm gonna pull this up so you all can see it. This is the Love for Libraries. And this is our own Carissa sitting here reading her book. But it's a campaign that's designed to make it really, really easy for business owners to participate in an opportunity to spread their marketing for their business by sharing a picture of them either reading a book or talking about a book that influenced their business and sending it to the public libraries. And then between the two libraries, both the district library and our township library, they have over 6,000 followers. And so they post the picture. They just posted one with, who is it? Brandon from Novellas. And then they also did a picture for the learning experience. And so if you know of some business owners in the community, I'd like to encourage them to participate because it basically is free marketing. And it's really simple. It's just a picture and you send it via email to the library. And, I've already sent out information to the businesses, email, and I'm working on getting it out to them via Messenger because I have email addresses for many of our businesses, but again, there's this fatigue going on that not everyone's following up with it. So I'm trying to reach out to them as well through social media. And when I send a messenger like through Facebook, I get really good responses. So that's what I'm working on right now is reaching out to the businesses in that manner. And then also, spring is just around the corner. We should be talking about pulling our eat local, our shop local, dine local feather flags out from storage and get those up. So I'll be arranging that with Township DPW to help in that process. Because I think April, if we're not going to see hopefully any more snow, fingers crossed, we can get those out and get that campaign back up and running again. And of course, I'm open to any suggestions too that anyone has regarding this task force and what we can do to continue promoting the businesses in our community. And that concludes my report. I know I usually have 15 things to review, but.
I have a question on the library. I got the email. I would love to do that. I was curious though, if, I'm sure the library would take donations, but I'm thinking it would be nice if we're showing a book that we like and then donate, I don't know, a half a dozen copies or three. I don't know what that looks like. I'm not sure what a good number would be to donate, because then you're promoting that and then you're promoting people to go into the library. So I wasn't sure if that was part of it, because I think that would be kind of cool to do. But my other thought was I was like, are people going to the libraries? Is this why, are we trying to stimulate people going back? Are they weirded out by going and touching books that other people have touched? Or, what's that whole process look like? Because I think it's important that we get back to, getting into the libraries and, if they aren't, I don't even know if they're open. I haven't been paying attention because my kids are now. So
both our libraries are open, and both the local libraries have a person assigned to economic development to work with businesses. And so this is opening up a couple of things. One, to your point, it does get people back in the library. Two, it helps our business owners, because when you send your email then to the library, they'll reach out to you to let you know if that book is in circulation. So they're not asking for a donation of it, but if it's not in circulation, they will actually get copies sent to them so that they can have it available in case anyone is interested. But they also want to take this opportunity to engage our local businesses, to let them know also what's available at the library. So, you can get a lot of marketing information and mapping and other pertinent data that you might need to promote your business. And many people don't know that those services are available. And I know our library isn't very big, but it is a powerhouse of information. And so this was their opportunity as well to engage with our business
Ah.
owners. And it starts with an introduction and the beginning of a relationship. And so that's what we're hoping to do. And then we're also looking to help our businesses connect to the community that has absolutely nothing to do with COVID. You know, everybody's been talking about COVID for a whole year now, and this is just a fun way to tap into. February was National Libraries Month, and March is National Reading Month. And so the libraries would like to continue this and look at other types of celebrations. We just thought that it was great because it was a love for libraries and love for reading theme, and that tied into our love for lion theme. And that's why we wanted to make that connection. So just so you know, too, it was the libraries who had approached our task force, and they were interested in partnering with us. And that's how we started this whole engagement.
And Katie Rothley at the library is just an amazing world of knowledge, business knowledge, with all the business benefits they have to offer. It's just amazing. I mean, Tina's right. I mean, there's so much information that you would normally have to pay for, or even go out to Oakland County for, that the library has for free. So.
Which library is she at, Troy?
Lyon Township, the one right down the road from us, Milford
Okay.
Road. Yeah,
Okay.
she's awesome. And she came to our promotions committee meetings a couple of times. And it was just, I mean, she just has a ton of information that they want to work. They want to be engaged with the businesses, you know, to promote the businesses. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And they're looking, as you know, as we come out of these restrictions, they're looking to hold more seminars or opportunities for people to learn. And the feedback that I've been giving them as well is, you know, the webinars are a great idea. Seminars are a great idea. But if you could record something in a video and we can share that, that's even more helpful, because not everyone has time to attend the webinars and seminars. So, oh, and another thing too is if they do host those, if they can record those and make those available for people who couldn't attend, that would also be helpful. So they took that feedback to heart. And
for what you already do, Paula, I mean, that was just a natural relationship, you know, because I mean, you already do it, so why not share it, right?
Yeah, well, and that's why I'm like, oh, I'd love to connect with her. I feel like that's something, yeah, she would be somebody I would love to connect with, as well as collaborate with on doing some promotion and some video for the library, maybe even doing an interview on, you know, my podcast show. So I could do that too.
Tina, can you
Paula,
send?
do you think for those on the board that may not have Facebook, can you maybe share with everyone some of the things that you've been working on?
Yeah, so I have been doing, you mean like the promotions that I've been doing within the community? So I'm basically just randomly, well, it's not random. I'm going into the community. My goal was to start with Lyon Township and work my way out. And so what I'm doing is I'm going into different businesses. I thought I would target the food industry first. And I've gone into Novellas, Jonah's, Big B, Corner Social. I did one for Beyond Juice up in Milford today. But anyway, what I'm doing is I'm going in there and I'm opening up a $100 tab. So I'm giving them $100. They're putting it on a gift card, so as not to make it an accounting nightmare. I pay for a $100 gift card. They keep it at the register. And then I do a video and I say, hey, this is Dr. Ruffin. I'm at Big B Coffee in New Hudson. I just put down $100 on a tab, and I want you to come in and get $5 off of your order from me when you come in and tell them I sent you. So come on in, come to Big B, give them some love, order something that you want and get $5 off when you mention my name, and love to see you on the next one, you know, whatever, right? So do this quick video. I try to keep it less than a minute for our ADD world. I ask people to share it. So I tell people, you know, come in, mention my name, share this video, and take a picture and tag us. Every single video I've done has gotten over 5,000 views. So it's a lot of eyes for, I'm doing like $100 a week, and I'm figuring, for $400 a month, it is like, it's great promotion for me. It's getting eyes on me and my business, but then it's also, utilizing the other businesses and utilizing the community and leveraging other people to build and promote. And it's been, I don't know if any of you follow Jay Abraham. He's pretty much like the guru, marketing guru, business coach. Forbes has named him the #1 marketing coach in the world. He's incredible. I had the honor of sitting in his living room for 3 days doing a mastermind. And he talks about these principles of really being preeminent in your community and doing these things, and lifting other people offers you the preeminence, but you're being collaborative with your community members. So instead of us trying to be an island for our own businesses, when we reach out and help these other businesses like this, we can grow exponentially. So that's my intention, is to just try to keep as much eyes on the community as possible. And like I say, target the different food industries first, and then, I can go to other businesses. So that's what I've been doing. And like I said, getting a lot of views, and I would love to do something like that with the library. Obviously, I'm, can't open a tab, but I can certainly do a video that would, now that people are seeing me more, I think doing something for the library that would also then get shared, and, people start to have the recognition of, hey, yeah, she's lifting up the community. So, I'm also, doing calls to action, hey, for those of us who were fortunate enough to come through COVID successfully, if you want to join me in my efforts, I would love to have you on board. And then we can start like pooling the money and really getting in and starting to help other businesses who've struggled.
Great.
Dr. Paula, one of the things you could do is, I think in that email I had sent, it has Katie's email contact.
Okay.
Is reach out to Katie, and maybe that would be a good idea to do a video of how she's helped you in some way with the services that they provide.
Okay.
Because
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
right.
Because I didn't know they had those business services. People need to know that.
Right. Right. And especially at this time when, everyone's trying to save some money, those services are available. And now that the library is open, people can start to take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So I will definitely reach out to her. I would love to connect with her.
Great. Troy, I had one more thing I forgot to mention, and it has to do with liquor licenses. Do you mind if I just?
No, by all means, please.
So I received an email from Southeast Michigan Council of Governments, SEMGOG. It's a mouthful, but this is a group that represents the 6 counties in Southeast Michigan. And they not only advocate for a lot of improvements in government and how we communicate, and they're a huge powerhouse of data. If you wanted any kind of data on Lyon Township in particular, they have all of the population data, and they keep a record of all of our maps. If you needed traffic information or number of cars that go by your business, they track all of this information. And so one of the things that they've been doing is they've been promoting the census. So as you know, in 2020, that was our 10-year census. And Lyon Township had a really, really high response rate. It was like, I think it was around 82%. It was high. And so that is very good because it helps us get federal money and other types of funding. But it also gives us more accurate data. So typically in a non-COVID world, when a census is completed, they compile all that data, and then that information is sent to the federal government, where the actual president signs off on those numbers. And that usually happens around April. And then by June, those numbers are sent out to all the different states, and then they're being used by the different state departments in order to take advantage of those figures that only come once every 10 years. So one of those departments is the Michigan Liquor Control. And it's that data is what's used to determine what our liquor license quotas are. So they'll look at the population from 2010, which was around 14,000. And then they'll look at the population today, which is around 21,000 is what we're expecting. And then they issue us a Class C quota license for one license for every 1,500 increase in population. So good news, we're really excited. I think we're going to be able to secure a number of new licenses. But I received this email from SEMCOG saying that they believe that the data will not be available now until December of this year. So let that sink in. That means that anyone who has applied pre-COVID for a liquor license will now have to wait a year almost to get any kind of data for us to move forward. So I did reach out to SEMCOG. We're members of SEMCOG, so I reached out to their economic development people and requested some advocacy. They have a lobbyist who works with the legislature, and I just brought to their attention that, as restaurants try to recover, many of them were either new or newly opened or had decided to start to sell alcohol. And with restaurants, a large percentage of their revenue comes from alcohol sales. That's why even though the restaurants have been doing carryout throughout COVID, they really have not been retaining a lot of revenue from that, because it's the alcohol sales that represent around 70% of their revenue stream in a non-COVID environment. So they said that they would take it up with their economic development folks and talk about what they could do to influence the state government to make some type of accommodation. So, the prohibition laws went into effect in 1930, and our state laws really have not changed a whole lot since prohibition. And so the argument that I was making with SEMCOG is, if you look back on the last 10 years, we have seen a tremendous shift in economic development with the economic downturn that occurred right before 2010, and now this pandemic. And so it's really difficult to turn on a dime when you have to wait every 10 years to get data in and to get quotas. So it would be really good if the state of Michigan would look at maybe what's called a half census year, where they would take a census every 5 years and make a decision instead of waiting 10 years. It's just, things happen so quickly nowadays that 10 years is such a long time when you think about it, that it seems really unusual why we would wait that long to get these liquor licenses updated, the quota. So they said they would take that on, and I think I'll bring this up with the Michigan Downtown Association as well. We're not the only community that's waiting for our quota licenses, and this could become something that they could make accommodations for. So I just wanted to kind of let you know, Teresita Grill is one of the applicants who is considering either a redevelopment license, which costs $20,000, or waiting for a quota license, which would cost them about $750. So there's a big difference, especially at this time, in the savings on which route they could take. So if there's any questions on that, I'm happy to answer it, but I just wanted to give you all an update.
Well, I think we've lived through that here in Lyon Township. In 5 years, our population has grown so rapidly and changed. So I think, every 5 years, it totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Any comments or anything? Any questions? And I'm sorry, we missed new business B, discussion on DDA sponsored events for 2021.
Yeah.
So we have to go back to that.
Yeah, so I wanted to put that on the agenda. Usually our special events are covered obviously by our promotions committee, and they're going to come back to the DDA board with recommendations on what they'd like to do. But I also wanted to get this board's opinion on what your thoughts are moving forward. Obviously, we're going to be held to any restrictions by the state, but they have been opening up more. So right now, I believe we are allowed to have up to 300 people in an outdoor setting. So last year we talked about doing these concerts over at the in Inspiration Park in front of the church. And so perhaps by May, June timing, that number may be increased to 500. But I think 300 is a number we can work with. But I wanted to get your opinions on this because obviously we would still have to address some type of social distancing that can be done with signs. Depending on the vaccination levels, the CDC just announced this week that they're starting to relax some of the face mask requirements based on vaccination percentages that are taking place. So that's something else that we would take into consideration. It's pretty fluid right now, but I didn't want to mobilize the promotions committee to start talking about special events unless I could get some feedback from this board on how we want to proceed moving forward.
Thoughts, anyone? Everyone?
Well, I'm thinking if we're going to utilize, what's up? Oh, if we're going to utilize or do something over at the Methodist Church, my brain is thinking, I'm thinking the Grand River corridor, right? Because you've got that parking lot also between the winery and me that's so big. And could we put tents there? And can we filter? Like, can we do if we needed to, can we have some kind of a thing that goes along that corridor that could accommodate more people? So that if it were more than 300 people, we wouldn't, be offending anybody. And I also think that by that time, I mean, people are really chomping at the bit to get out. So, I'm personally one of them that I would love to see some outdoor festivals, and I would love to see us, gathering and having fun in person instead of in this one-dimensional plane. So I'm just thinking, we might need to prepare for the fact that if we plan something like that, would we sell tickets if we're only going to keep it to 300, or, how would we do that? Wristbands, or like I say, can we do something that would encompass more of the businesses along that area, taking into account parking or something,
Yeah, because I know the winery is planning their comedy shows again. For those who might not be familiar, the good Wholehearted Winery hosts a number of outdoor comedians. They have them set up on their outdoor patio, and people will come and sit in the parking lot. They can stay in their cars if they want, just windows down, or they just bring out their chairs and sit in and around the outdoor patio area and listen to a comedy show. So there are opportunities for us to tap into plans that have already been put into place. And for instance, if we wanted to do a concert, we could do like a 5:30 concert, and then that could tie into their 7:30 show that they would be holding. So to your point, Paula, there are some opportunities that we can take part in, but I want to make sure that when we're talking with the promotions committee, we understand what parameters we're going to be working within. And clearly we will always comply with whatever the state and federal requirements are, but hopefully this will be a different year. And I just wanted to let you know too, that Kite Fest is proceeding forward. So Troy and I are on the board for the Kite Festival, and we just started meeting again. I think we've had 2 or 3 meetings so far, and that is falling into place. It will be on June 5th and 6th, which is the first weekend in June. And that'll be held up in the park. It's the 12th annual event. And it would be nice too for us to have some presence there with set up our tent that we have, and maybe have a couple of volunteers from the DDA board be there over the weekend to talk to people and let them know what's going on. So that is an event that is moving forward.
Tina, it's the first Saturday and Sunday in June.
In June.
Wow, it's late. Okay.
Okay, I'm glad you guys said that, because I'm planning my 20th anniversary party and I was shooting for that weekend. So
Okay.
I will either go the weekend before, providing it's not Memorial Day, or the week before, we'll see. So, okay, what did you say? The first weekend in June, Troy?
First weekend in June.
First area. And Chris is on the board as well.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that's right, Chris. Sorry.
I mean, based on what the CDC and the different government agencies are indicating, it seems as though that their goal is to have as many people vaccinated by the end of May. So I think to plan accordingly, you know, like you plan for what it is now, but I think it might be a much better situation that come that time frame. Plus it's summer, which the numbers were significantly down last year as well during the summer. So I think based on, you guys probably have historical data based on the number of people that actually go to the different events. So based on that, you probably would have a general idea of how many people to expect and how restrictive it may or may not be for, you know, obviously it's hard to keep people social distance if they're scattered about, but if you're in a line for something, then it's fairly easy so that, you know, it's communicated, you know, with whatever spacing or whatever is required for maintaining that, if it's still required. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, are you just, I guess the easy thing is that you guys we're going to proceed with the events based on that we're allowed to.
Well, and that's why I was thinking, you know, if we were to, okay, let's say it's 300, but from a planning perspective, we sell wristbands in an effort to, or like you say, tickets of some capacity. And
So you have a counter.
Yeah, and then of course, if let's say we're sold out and it's May 1st, but then on May 1st, they open it up to 500. Okay, well now we have 200 more tickets. So taking it in stages like that, I don't think we have to wait until, if we come up with a plan to get it in motion, we don't have to wait until that final announcement of what it's going to open up to. We work with what we have, like you're saying, and then as it opens up, add in, you know, more availability for it.
Now I know, like, so for instance, like America Park, they can have 750 people. That's an outdoor venue. Would we be, I would assume the Kite Festival would be more spread out than that. So I would assume that you would be able to have a similar count.
Yes, correct. I mean, with it being spread out in the park, there's definitely more opportunity for social distancing. And there will still be people who are comfortable to attend and those who are not. And we're keeping that in mind as well. We belong to the Michigan Festivals and Events Association. Leo does. And I was surprised that, I think it's, I can't remember which city it is. It's on the west side of the state, but they've canceled their 4th of July fireworks again this year.
It's pretty
And
good.
that was surprising considering the momentum that we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
So I think this is just going to be another one of those years where, you know, some people are canceling due to an overabundance of caution, and then others are optimistic and hopeful and feeling that it can be managed. So, and then we have to keep in mind that places like the zoo, they've been open through most of COVID, but they put those restrictions in place where they only allowed a certain amount of people in, and you had to get the tickets in advance. So I wanted to pick all your brains just to kind of see where you're coming from with this so that I can take that back then to that committee. And when we're hashing out these details, at least I know where our board is coming from or what your expectations would be.
Well, and to your point, Tina, you know, how you're saying like some people are still taking an abundance of caution and some people are getting out. This is where I'm like, so we can't just cancel everything because these people over here are really being cautious. So then the rest of us who want to get out, then we're like, oh, okay, you know, I mean, so I think we have to have some give and take on there, right? So not canceling an event or not doing it all to, you're not having it completely. You know, we've got to start stepping out. We've got to start
moving forward.
We just have to start being a society again and moving forward. I mean, that's my that's my opinion, and we can't all stay sheltered in our homes for another year. We're gonna go absolutely cuckoo crazy. So as much as, we want certain people to be protected, there's the other end of the spectrum. And, we have to just, we can't please everybody. So in that respect, we've got to be able to move forward, and people who are comfortable, they can come, and people who aren't, then, wait till they're comfortable. There'll always be something there for them to be comfortable.
Okay.
Eventually.
Yeah. Mark, can we get your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think some of those ideas are really good about maybe a pre-sale event, if that's possible, for a certain amount. I think, again, because of the venue itself being outdoors and spread out by its nature with kites anyway, that you're going to have families gathering, and again, I'm all for it, for keeping the event on, and we do the best we can this year.
Okay, thanks, Tim. Tim there? I see you ceiling.
I'm here.
Can we get your thoughts, your input?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Paula and Mark. I mean, some people are going to be paranoid and some people aren't. I mean, we gotta open up this place. We gotta get going again. This is crazy.
Okay. Adorno, how are you feeling?
I agree. Outside, June.
Okay. Carissa?
Bring the inflatables, Troy. Let's do it.
Well, and Jason, we already know, you're feeling the same way. With New Hudson Inn and Wholehearted Winery, they've already had events throughout the last fall, which were at the same time, and they worked out great. Because and adding on the church, like, Tina, you had a perfect example. Starting their concert, we talked about being an hour and a half at 5:30 or whatever, and then they wander on down to the comedy show, or they wander on down to New Hudson Inn, or they go across the street to, I'm sure, Jonah's. Hopefully they'll be having entertainment or something. So absolutely.
Are there any events prior to the Kite Fest?
No, not really.
We haven't
Okay.
planned any, although the church did, the pastor did reach out to us about doing some type of an Easter egg hunt for, I think, or
Right.
late March,
Right.
sorry, late March.
Yeah, because the South Lyon, the Kiwanis usually does a Easter egg hunt, and they've canceled that again this year. So there's a second year in a row they won't have one, and that one draws in. It's incredible. It draws in 11 or 1,200 kids. I mean, it's just
Wow.
It's awesome to watch. I mean, I've helped throw the eggs out, and there's like 8,000 to 10,000 little plastic eggs with candy, and it's hysterical, Jason, to see these little kids. They're like ants when they blow the horn. All these little ants just run out to grab the eggs. It's just hysterical to watch, So
In the city, doesn't Kiwanis help with that?
yeah, Kiwanis puts that one on at
Yeah.
Volunteer Park. But I don't know if anybody else is doing anything. So I thought it'd be kind of nice if we could work with the church to do one. It would be smaller, but and that's okay. It would be an event to get on the calendar and get people out.
Yeah,
Like we're-
sometimes they do those, they do windows like younger children at one time, like one age group.
Right,
For the first hour.
Yeah, in segments.
right. And
Right.
that's
The
what that's
challenge
what South
is
Lyon does.
if you have a family that has multiple kids in those ages. So we thought, and we'll get feedback from the church on this. And I'll tell you, I was very excited when Pastor John reached out to us, because you can tell that they're thinking, how can we use our front lawn to help support the downtown? And we thought maybe we could do groups of like 100. If the maximum is 300, we would use our own caution and maybe limit each group to 100 and do like X amount of hour blocks so that those kids could come. And they have the front lawn and they also have the back too. So it's just, we've never done it before, right? So we have a learning curve with that as well. So we might start off small. it's tough because sometimes you see the comments on Facebook in the past with these Easter egg hunts. Most people are very, very excited about them, but some parents get really riled up over them. It's almost like a competition, you know, they're like, oh, there weren't enough eggs, or I had a hard time finding a parking spot. So you're always going to get that kind of feedback when you're trying something new for the first time. But
I'm a volunteer.
Pardon me?
Just tell them to volunteer and then they can be involved.
Right.
They can stop that complaining.
I tell the story. We were knee deep in Kite Fest one year. It was very, very busy. And if you haven't been, we set up a huge tent and we have tables all over the tent. And we put down, you know, we have like 1,500 kites that we give away. And so we lay the kites down. They've all been assembled by the Kiwanis people for us. So they're ready to go. And we provide markers and crayons for all the kids. And they line up and we get them on the tables. And I think we can get maybe 30 kids going at one time. And it was busy. I mean, as soon as someone picked up a kite, we were putting a kite down for the next kid to start drawing. And one mother came up to me and she said, oh, I'm sorry, but I think you're understaffed today. And I just gave her a big smile and I said, no, we're not understaffed. And she looked at me like, what? And I said, we're under volunteered.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, no, you guys are doing a great job. But it's an example of how we try to encourage folks to step up and help out, because many hands make the work light. And we had a great turnout this year with the display, the Christmas display. And I want to thank those of out. That was, I mean, Troy and I were knee deep in that. So we really appreciate your assistance on it. So yeah, and I think the more we engage the community, I think the more folks are following our Facebook page as well and keeping appraised of what's going on in the downtown. We're going to get more folks participating.
Well, you guys, for my 20th anniversary, I do want to do something big. And I actually was thinking I'd love to have, whether it's like, I was even thinking like kids, like the high school kids or, who want to come and do acoustic, like open mic, something like that. Or, have somebody who would like some exposure to come and play music. And Dan and Brenda, because they were not able to have their 1 year, they had said, well, maybe we can do it together. And I said, that'd be great. So we're talking about gobbling up the whole parking lot and doing something really cool. So if there's anything that we can integrate with the township, that would be awesome. So, I'd love some ideas on how we can really maximize the event so we can, just start offering more things to people and just getting them out and having fun, pulling the Band-Aid off, come on out, breathe some fresh air and enjoy some fun. So
the church has been very helpful in offering up their parking lot for that type of thing. So
awesome.
You could close down your parking lot for your event and then utilize parking at the church.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
Yeah, run that by Pastor John, and he's been very supportive of that in the past.
Okay.
And maybe even talk to him about events to be held in his front yard, in their front yard too.
Okay.
For more draw and more traffic.
And I'm going to need a tent and a giant inflatable.
and a gorilla.
And a gorilla, yes, we had the gorilla and the 10-year.
He hasn't been there for 10 years.
I mean, my 20-year gorilla, that's right.
And please know that our mascot is also available, either to have someone like myself wear, or I'm happy to pass it out for someone else to wear.
I didn't know we had a mascot. Who's our mascot?
We do. We have Leo the lion.
Oh, yes, of course.
Lyon. Okay. And boy, do we have some fun stories about.
And Tim will trim his hair.
Yeah, and we were in the Cool Yule Parade. It's a mascot costume I found online. Gosh, I don't know, 6 years ago. And he didn't have a big mane. So when we did Cool Yule and we were promoting, I think it was Kite Fest, all the kids on the side of the road were like, "Hi, Mr. Bear." Hi, Bear. And I'm like yelling inside the costume, it's a lion, right? So I went and I bought fur.
Parade, her voice was hoarse because she said it's a lie.
It's a lion. And on a shirt. But I went and bought more fur from I think Michael's, and he has more of a mane now.
Okay.
Look more like it. But I'll tell you, we use Leo at Kite Fest. Usually it's my teenage sons in it. Sometimes it's me.
I was gonna say we gotta be able to find a teenager to
Yeah.
get into that thing.
It's also been me.
Yes, it has been. I did learn that you should not enter a dance contest wearing it in 75, 80-degree weather.
Okay.
It is not a good idea.
Good way to lose some weight.
But it's received really well. We've had him at different events, and at Kite Fest, the kids come all, and their parents take pictures with them, and then
That's
they
a
post
great
it on their
idea.
social media.
Okay,
And it's just a fun mascot to have.
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
Okay,
see.
let's-
Maybe I
That
can rope
costume's
one of my
available.
daughter's friends in. Okay,
All right, let's
perfect.
move on.
Okay,
we
well,
have-
I just wanted to thank you all for your feedback. This is very helpful.
Mark, Economic Restructuring Committee.
Just a couple of quick updates. Had an opportunity to reach out to a few of the property owners right in downtown, just to get some information and then maybe possibly strategize with some future developments moving forward. I did learn that the former gas station, which is just next door to the new Hudson Inn, that is actually under a lease agreement right now with the folks over at USA To Go. They've got a couple of years remaining. They do have an option to purchase, which is of interest because that tells me that there's an opportunity for an acquisition of that property, either with their cooperation or by them waiving. I happen to know the guys over there at USA To Go. They said they would cooperate any way they could. So we'll keep, stay tuned. I also reached out to the owners of the southwest corner, the triangle right at Milford Road and Grand River, owned by RKA. They have had a challenging piece. It's triangle. By the time you factor in front yard setbacks on both Grand River and Pontiac Trail, it cuts that triangle down to make it very difficult to build on. Historically, they've always asked for a big number, 650,000. Spoke with their rep about a week ago. They've reduced that price to 450, which still a lot of money, but it starts to, maybe make some sense. So I then contacted the next door property owner, another family-owned property that I happen to know and have done some work with in the past. They're supposed to let me know. They're supposed to get together over this coming weekend, let me know next what they might be looking for. And if we can assemble a couple of pieces of parcels there, I know that there are developers that would be interested in doing the assemblage, at least pursuing a development on that corner, especially because of the size. I mentioned it Tina earlier. I talked with her. I've reached out to the owners of the former Putters property. Have not had any success here in the last couple of weeks in reaching them. I might lean on Tina because the last time we did meet, she called on behalf of the DDA, and we were able to get a meeting with the owner. And I might try that approach again. So I just stay tuned. Hopefully, we get some good things coming.
Great work. Thanks, Mark. Promotions Committee. Hey, Tina.
Yeah.
Back in November or December, you had talked about a possibility of us being reimbursed for the feather flags through a grant, I believe, through Oakland County. Is there any more feedback on that?
Yeah, let me follow up with that because I know the township received some funding for anything COVID related. So yeah, let me touch base with Patty and see
Okay.
what kind of funding they received and how they allocated that.
Because that was about $7,500, I think. That would be nice to put back into our promotions budget.
Correct. So what I had done is when the request came through to identify all COVID related expenses, I gave a spreadsheet to Patty Carconi of all of the items that could be covered. And so I will touch base with her and see if that was reallocated back when they got
Okay.
reimbursement from the county.
right.
Thank you for the follow-up.
And we still have plans. We've not really pursued them, but we still have plans of having a lighting up the Grand in December. But of course, that's, you know, after I was in Frankenmuth a month ago, and they had 15 or 20,000 people there. I'm going to think by December we're going to be able to have at least 1,000. So that'll be up to the promotions committee person who takes it over. Design and appearance, Jason.
Nothing new to report at this time.
Oh, and I thought we changed the name of the Economic Restructuring Committee.
Oh, we did. I forgot to change it on the here.
And the Organization Committee, they have a new committee person still.
That's nice try. Try that's you.
It says Troy Power.
Power.
Nothing on that, but we promise that we will have a meeting with the executive committee, and we will get the bylaws done after we've talked about them for, well, a couple of years.
Mhm.
Okay, Township Board, Tina, you want to report for John Dolan, Mr. Dolan?
I can tell you that for the water project, they're still working pretty diligently on the softening portion of that. It has gone, if you recall, we mentioned that it had been a part of a pilot program and that Eagle was pleased with the results of the program. It is still with Eagle. It is still under review. And Ed Kidston, who is our water contractor, is still working with them to try to get those final approvals in place. And once it occurs, then it should move pretty quickly because they know exactly what type of equipment and material is going to be needed in order to move forward. So unfortunately, there's a delay with Eagle. Most of it's related to COVID, but sometimes it can take a while to get through this. But I think it's because it's a newer concept. This is not something that has ever been tried for in Michigan. It is used out in California. So it is somewhat exciting. If they give us the approval to move forward, then we would be mark for this type of water softening in the state of Michigan. So other than that, I wasn't prepared because I didn't know John was going to come. But the board did meet on March 1st, and their packet is available online if anyone wants to take a look at what was discussed at that meeting. And then the minutes should be posted there as well soon.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Tonight is a great meeting, and thank you for all your thoughts and input. We really appreciate it. It's nice to have everybody involved and contributing. You know, there have been times in the past where nobody says a word, but tonight's great to have everybody involved. So thank you so much. Can we have a motion? Anybody have any other input or comments or anything?
Yeah, I wish you quit talking so much.
Well, you've been so quiet tonight. I thought maybe, you know, you weren't feeling well or something.
That sounds like a motion.
I'm tired.
Can I make a quick announcement?
You just did. Thank you.
No, you're going to like this. I'm having an event at my office this Thursday called Cocktails and Community. I would love for all of you to come and please share it. And we're going to have cocktails and hors d'oeuvres and community. So that's what we're doing at my office. It'll be the second Thursday of every month and kicking it off this Thursday. So would love to see you guys there.
What time?
6:30 to 8:30.
In the future, that is under number 7, announcements and communication.
Oh,
I'm
you
only
just
kidding.
asked, does anyone
I'm
have
only
any more
kidding.
announcements?
Kidding.
You're
only
not
kidding.
invited. You're not invited.
Nothing new.
Okay.
Thank you. Can we have a motion for adjournment? Tim?
I will motion to adjourn.
Okay.
So moved.
Do we need a roll call?
I think we do.
Okay, Rose.
Okay, all right, Jason,
Yes.
Tim,
Absolutely.
Carissa,
Yeah.
Adorno,
Yes.
Troy,
No, because I'd like to talk more.
Oh,
Bush,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night,
And
you
Paul,
guys.